those who don't know me, my name is Camila Prieto. I come with New Mexico State University delegation from the United States, and I'm here to talk about economic independence and why is it vital to have a stronger voice and dignity as a woman. Before I start addressing these, I'm going to address 3 questions to you. What does it mean to be economically independent? Why is it vital for voice and dignity? And how to overcome the barriers to achieve economic independence. So I thought I was going to be in a room full of women from all over the world, but I would like for you to think about the diversity there is in this conference and realize how different every country is from each other and how different every town or city in the country itself differs. So these different customs, beliefs, and cultures, and many more things. This is all because of our surroundings. So who and with we grow up around with impacts the person we become and continue to be. Our lives are influenced in every aspect by our surroundings on a daily basis. Because of the diversity of cultures around the world, each and every one of us in this room will see and think things differently and will have a different meaning to what being economically independent is. So I would like to ask you, what does it mean to be economically independent to you? Think about a woman who doesn't depend economically on anyone. Is she free? Is she happy? Determined? Successful? Well, if you would ask me to describe a woman who is independent in one word, I would say successful, because becoming economically independent I see the process of it as if it were a ladder, and each step may or may not be challenging to encounter, but there will definitely be some steps that are challenging. So going through each step and getting to the top means that you have succeeded in life in every aspect that once was challenging to you and now it's not. So now it's not, so now you're successful. But why is it that so many women can't climb this ladder, can't get up to that success, to that independence? Well, as I was preparing for this session, I started thinking about the many barriers we as women face and about the many disadvantages as well. Because for a woman to even get into the economics field, it's hard. And I know it, I've seen it. I grew up in a small town in Mexico, surrounded by the typical household that men worked and women were supposed to stay at home and not do much. So as a woman in Mexico, it's hard to be in the field where it's predominated by men. It's hard getting there. So all these barriers, I think, come from what society expects from us as women. So Mexican culture is old-fashioned, and it was more when I was young. By old-fashioned, I mean, like I was saying, men provide and women have to look up for the family and just stay at home. So I grew up thinking that I was expected to be a perfect wife and later on a great mother that was going to be waiting for their kids to come back from school with a delicious meal. But as I grew older and I realized I couldn't cook, I started wondering, how was I going to be that perfect woman everyone expected me to be? And guess what? I still can't cook, but cooking was not the problem. The problem is that it's not what I wanted yet. And no matter how many times society or family would tell me that I had to do it, if it wasn't what I wanted, I wasn't going to do it. I grew up surrounded by 2 types of grandmothers. So my dad's mother, she was the perfect wife and mother expectation. And my other grandmother was the one who worked and who was different. Well, the example I want to follow is my mom's mother, who had the courage to work, to make decisions in the household, to go out and have time for herself. And that's the example I want to follow, even though many women in Mexico doesn't, because that's who I want to be and that's what makes me happy. There's nothing wrong with staying at home and just taking care of the kids. I know there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not what I want to do. And in the process of being different, we could say, in my culture, I will admit it, I have faced challenges and disadvantages for not following the expectations, especially my family has on me and society. But all these barriers that I have faced have made me stronger and have gotten me to where I am now. And I hope by making me stronger, they will get me further than I expect to get. And I just thought, how would we get over these barriers, what we call? Well, if we see them, instead of seeing them as disadvantages, if we see them as something that we needed, as something that will make us stronger, as something beneficial for us, just looking at it as an overall positive standpoint, it will make our success taste even better when we get there because of how hard we've worked to get there. And I believe this conference is full of successful, independent businesswomen who are part of the economics field, and just like it was possible for them, it's possible for any other women, but it is all in our mindset. We've got to remember that our mind is extremely powerful, and if we look at these steps to walk or climb to get somewhere as difficulties, believe me, each step will be a challenge to you and will be difficult. But if we look at it as a positive standpoint, like I was saying, going through the ladder is gonna be even satisfying to you, and getting to that success and that independence even more. And yes, we will have a benefit by having a stronger voice and dignity that I believe is vital for our own well-being. So economic independence is vital to have a stronger voice and dignity as a woman, because when we're economically dependent or in any other matter, we may go through things that we may not like, or that dependence may deprive us from things that we want to achieve and we can't just because we're dependent. But on the other hand, independence will give us the freedom to choose what we desire to do in life, to express ourselves, and the dignity to know that we have power to accomplish things nor for anyone else but for us, and will give us the strength to know that we are valuable, and it will give us also the confidence to know that we can sustain ourselves and even our families if we're alone, and we should not settle down for anyone else. Dependency should not be the barrier for you not getting to that success. So there are opportunities out there for us. It's just a matter of wanting and desiring to take them, because believe me, barriers will be many and excuses even more, but opportunities are more than plenty, and we just have to get out there. Besides having a stronger voice and dignity, becoming independent by working will lead us not only to have a secure income, but also to happiness, to great bonds by building relationships at work, to have higher self-esteem, to personal and professional growth that to me are vital for my well-being and for each and every woman's well-being. I acknowledge that there are certain circumstances that can make the process of becoming independent difficult, and an example of this is motherhood, because as women we are expected to be mothers, and I understand that there are times women cannot work and have to set aside their professional lives to focus on maybe family or other things. And I lived this in my childhood, seeing as my mom had to quit her job because me and my sister were little, and she had to look out for us and just be there for me and my sister and my father. But quitting her job did not mean that she no longer had decisions over the household or that she no longer had a voice, because I have seen that my dad has always had the same respect for my mother, either she brings income and supports the household or not. So when my mother stopped working, I asked her if she would ever go back. and she said, yeah, maybe when you guys are older and stuff like that. So yes, we grew older and she went back to work. But then before coming here, I talked about my topic with her and everything, and she said that when she had to quit to take care of us, those doors seemed like shut for her, that she was never going to go back to the workplace and that she was just going to be the typical Mexican mother who stayed at home. And she was definitely sad about it, but she said that maybe it was all in her mindset that she saw that door like closed, because I still had another little brother and she still went back to work even though she was mother of 3 kids. And my dad was very demanding, because my dad, growing up in a Mexican family, of course, he was very demanding, wanting his wife to stay at home, right? But if my mom had settled down for my dad or for her surroundings, her friends especially, that didn't work, I think she wouldn't be as happy as she is right now. And especially because I feel that she feels free. I feel that she needs her time away from home. She needs to be independent. Just like my mother, there have been many other women who have the necessity to set aside their professional life to focus on other things. But this by no means gives anyone the right to make her feel less or to judge her. We do not comprehend what happens in other households. Therefore, we should not judge other women. Women who stay at home can somehow be economically independent, I think, because staying at home doesn't mean that you cannot manage the financials of the household or take decisions just because you're not supporting economically. And I believe that women who stay at home should be overall respected, because it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job to look out for a family. There are many women who have the desire of becoming economically independent, and they can't, but they just don't believe it as possible because of what and who surrounds them. And I've seen them, I've grown up around them, around women who have just settled down because of the culture or family. But what are the barriers stopping you? Is it marriage, not having confidence, school, society, culture? I strongly believe anything in life is possible if you're determined and believe such thing. You have got to know that what society says may not always be the right thing for you. But making the best decision for you may not be the best decision for anyone, so you won't have the support of everyone. You may not have the support of your family, your friends, your significant other. But standing out and being different is actually something to admire. People who stand out and pursue their dreams aside from what society will think of them is something that I admire, because of the bravery that they have on setting everything aside to pursue what they want, their desires. So if you want to be independent, you must get out of your comfort zone. Get out of the usual, knowing that it will be challenging, but you must not despair. You should keep working hard to overcome fear, criticism, negativity, obstacles, and challenges along the way. Keep trying until you have overcome all of these barriers keeping you from being independent. Things will not happen in a day or two. Look at all those women who have been successful in the field of economics. Those women are the result of hard work, positivism, to not give up, and hope to go further than expected. All you need is a want and desire to become economically independent. That's your starting point. Then you will need courage to get out of your comfort zone and know that it will be challenging, but it is possible to climb up that ladder of independency and get to the top of success. Sometimes when we take what is the best decision for us, we will not get acceptance. But we will go through that without giving up, and that will develop the strength to keep going until we have succeeded. Most importantly during this process is to be confident about ourselves. You can find a job. You can have steady income to sustain you or your family. You can start your own business. You can enter the economics field and thrive. Don't let anyone tell you different. The process may be challenging, but the results will be an amazing, strong, successful, independent woman. Having your goals, values, and belief sets is what will lead you to become economically independent. We have Ritik, please come here.
Hello everyone. First I welcome all of you to my city, Delhi. I belong to this city. I am Didi Saikia. I'm an entrepreneur. I founded my organization Lakshmi Priya The Kaur in 2011, and most of my employees are women who are either uneducated or educated till primary level. First, let us know what is economic independence. It probably means the assets or ways of employment which can generate income or cash flow which is at least sufficient for the individual's expenses. In other words, it means the ability to earn, the power to purchase, and of course to have a say in the financial decisions taken in the family. Well, in Indian context, I do not know about other countries, but mostly in Indian context, it can actually mean having a say in the way her household will run. Here, it is of course a male-dominant society in India, and rural India is completely different from urban India. The money in hand, no matter how small or big it is, it leaves the woman's self-image and hence voice. Women, as perceived by every society, every country, or at every financial strata, it is different. In today's progressive world, also we are already 20 years into the millennium, but still I think we have to come a long way. And economic empowerment and economic independence will give the women of the world the right track to achieve gender equality and social justice. Equality is probably one of the vital sets of attributes that every woman is looking for, and more so in India, and I think in all other developing countries also. Economic engagement leads to women's economic empowerment. And promoting women's economic empowerment and independence will stop the resurgence of new gender gaps. And the reason behind gender equality is because of difficulty or the barriers that women face to get higher education. In India, it is for the basic education also that women are fighting for. Here the girl child becomes 12, 13. Now there is a stringent law that you cannot marry your child off at 18. But still, every year, thousands of parents get arrested in the complaints that they have married off their daughters who are just 12 or 13. So forget about studies. They cannot even think independently. So economic independence and financial independence is a distant dream for them. Now there are programs, government has come up with a lot of inclusive programs, but what needs to be changed is the mindset, and that is the way at Endeavor at my organization. I have always worked with women who are from rural India, and they did not even know till then about their magical hands. Tears roll down their cheek when they see their products getting sold in eBay, their crafts getting appreciated in the worldwide market, and they are surprised. And they call me sister. They do not know ma'am and everything. So, the money in hand gives the ability for them to think for themselves, and they demand in the family that their children is educated further. Financial independence is very important in more than one ways. See, in this today's uncertain world, when there is actually no certainty for job or even for life, and something happens to the main breadwinner of the family, the woman's ability to earn can actually prevent the family from falling apart. It can actually extinguish of contingency reserves that the family holds. It is also vital for meeting the day-to-day cost. When there is a family of an India, if you go to the rural India, they have 3 children, 4 children, maybe 5 children, or many more, and they have their parents staying with them, sometimes grandparents, and they have to take care of a lot. And everywhere in different parts of our country, there are suicides by farmers. When the crops are not well because of drought or sometimes by flood. India is a diverse land, and some areas are having floods and some areas are having drought. So when the farmer cannot have enough money to run the family for the year, he commits suicides. Sometimes they try some odd path and eventually they lose their life. So if the women has the ability to earn, they can, and in India we have different crafts. Every woman know how to sew things. They know to make wonderful things by hand. Handicrafts, Indian handicrafts are appreciated in the worldwide. But what needed is the direction. Now there are self-sustainable groups who, with a woman entrepreneur, they inspire the women of the rural India to come together and spend at least 2-3 hours to make something constructive. And for that also, they have to take permission from their husbands, the in-laws, and the mother-in-law is the strong. She should have helped her daughter or daughter-in-law to go ahead. But the women of the older generation in India are the biggest barrier in her life. They stop them back. So in a way, when I went to meet the people from rural India for working with me, my proposal was only for part-time. Because if I say, I want to take you for full-time, they'll say, just don't come to our village. We are not going to let our women work for you. So, but that part-time work also, when they got the money in hand, their self-image is uplifted. They were motivated, beyond imagination. They got the confidence to raise their voice. And in India, I think in other developing countries also, dignity is still to be sought after for. We do not get respect and dignity in society so easily. And it is extremely sad that in India or in the other parts of the world also, today also, a lot of women are subjected to domestic violence, sexual exploitation, and suppression in very common. Her financial dependency on others in the family, either on father or husband or anyone or brother, stops her from raising her voice against the crime or the violence. She continues to tolerate the discrimination and violence in her life just because she doesn't have financial independence. So we see how vital is the economic independence for her dignity. Economic independence will remove this helplessness from her life. She will be able to raise her voice seeking respect and dignity, and to raise it further when something is done against the gender. She can even think of taking help of the judicial system. She can go ahead against the family if something is wrong is done. So for all this, her voice needs strength, and that comes with the ability to earn. This is my personal experience, and I have seen people, the women who are not even able to step out of their house, they are motivated beyond not only to work with us, they then after a year, they try to motivate their kins, the fellow women, to join. And when the selfish family, I'll call it selfish because they were the person who was stopping her. They see the money she's getting money, she's getting some, and she is able to bear some expenses, then they allow her to work. But that doesn't mean the male of the family is sharing her work. They do not. So in India, people who have come out to be economically independent, even in urban area, they are working round the clock, all the time, at home front also, and at the workplace also. That is their zeal inside to be someone, to show their capability, to work for them is the force behind to let her go ahead. Also, economic independence is important for all age of women when they are educated, may it be single, married, or widow. The ability to earn is the guiding force for her to seek dignity in all her relations, family, and of course in the workplace. When women live in dignity, the society progresses, the country goes ahead, because half of the women of the country every country is women. So when half of the people are left behind and not economically independent, the country cannot progress in the way it should have. Also, economic independence, the woman's ability to earn, will also give her the power to purchase. And in India, the woman is always in the sacrificing mode. She sacrifices her fancy needs, her dreams, and sometimes even the woman is found sacrificing on health and medical requirements also. So the money in hand will give her the power to spend. When women start earning, they can be the role model to the other women. As I said earlier, they themselves inspire other women of their vicinity or in the distressed neighborhood to come and join together, and they try to accrue the benefits from togetherness. I think it is the financial independence is the force behind for making her voice confident and to seek respect and dignity in the society, and also not to give her the power and freedom to not to tolerate any violence or any discriminations against her. And her children will also become confident. If you see a well-educated mother can have a better children, same way, I think financial independent women can give a better direction to her children as well. And with this dream, that more people will join in the bandwagon of economically independent women. And at WEF is such a forum that women are, women from every corner of the world are together. And so when we go back to our native place, we should inspire 10 more people, 20 more people, or maybe hundreds to work and to do something for herself. Thank you very much for giving me a patient hearing.
Anyone want to speak? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's very difficult for rural women. They're very different from us. You can see most of them are under a veil also in many parts of India. Now, because of internet and all things are getting better, but it's into home furnishing. Home furnishing and home decor items.
Okay,
Yeah.
so those people, they make the items and
Yes,
then
yeah.
market
All
them.
products are handmade. I sell on eBay.com. I have a Facebook page,
Okay.
and Amazon also. They are all handcrafted.
I wrote down your words when you said that the women in India are in sacrificing mode, and it's quite touching
I
because
have seen my mother
Yeah.
also, though she is working, she is a college professor. But still, at household, people do not come to share their work. They want everything. When the man goes out of the house to work, he wants his breakfast or tiffin and lunch and everything ready. Everyone knows in India. But when woman goes out, she doesn't get anything. She has to rush. She has to, double her capacity to work. So what motivates her to work in Indian context is her ability to, she wants to see her probably in a better position.
can I just, I come from Finland.
Okay.
My name is Riikka, hi, nice to meet you. We just have a TV show in television. It was a Swedish production from Sweden. And perhaps you know that Sweden is the leading country in gender equality. So there the equality is like most evolved or most progressed. So the TV show told, it was about the 1960s for, is it 50 years ago? 50 years ago, something like that. Still, the Swedish ladies were at home, housewives, needed the husband's permission to different to purchases. They were not economically independent. They didn't work much outside the home, and it was 50 years ago. 50 years, and now the country is leading in equality. So everything is possible, and things can happen, even if it seems like a long way to go. So it was striking to me that during my lifetime, the equality has been there. When I was 18 years old, my mother said to me that, remember, only one rule: never be financially dependent on a man. That was the life rule, and I tried to follow that. And I reached a point where I am independent. Even I'm living together almost 30 years with a wonderful husband. But things do happen, and then also quickly when the ball is unrolling, then it happens quickly.
Thanks to personal
Can we start a group photo session?
Okay.
Please come all here. So group photo. Please come all. All.